Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Resident Evil 4. This time we are going to be proceeding from the village further into the Ganado-held territories, and we're going to see what we can find about rescuing the President's daughter. So we're back in the village, and to proceed with the story, we need to continue through this gate with the slightly ominous arrow pointing towards it. Let's hope they're not expecting us. So you'll see here that we have a couple of bad guys doing some farm work. Now, as soon as we fire guns, they're going to hear us and they're going to come after us, so we need to be quite careful with how we proceed. You'll see there are these medallions. I will want to shoot those going forward, but it's going to be a little while before we do that because we want to make sure this place is properly cleared out and safe for Leon to roam. So I reckon if we head over here first and deal with this guy, we can make a good start. And down he goes. Nope, nice try. Oh, gotta be careful not to hit the cow. And he stays down. And as you'll see, we have chickens running around here. These drop eggs endlessly. So if you were to be committed enough, you could run around collecting eggs permanently and fill up your inventory with them and then cash them all in at a merchant and fully upgrade your weapons off the bat. But I consider that cheating and I will not be doing it. So, who's next? There are a bunch of guys in here. I think they should be my next target. They clearly haven't noticed me yet, so I'll take down that guy, and then take down that guy. Now, the shotgun is not good enough to take them out in a single blast yet, but it gives us a good head start in terms of making them stay back and recognize where their interests lie. One down. Another down. And I think there's another guy here, because I heard the whirling of a scythe being hurled overarm at me. I'll try and find out where that guy is. I think he might be around here. There he is. Oh, that was an error. So was that. That's more like it. So I think that's this place cleared out, and he does at least drop a green herb, which I can use to quickly heal myself up from that damage. So we'll pop back through the window, and this place is full of stuff. You open up these cupboards, you get a spinal, that's worth 2,000 pesetas. You go over to these barrels, break them. Pretty often they contain cash. Yep, there we go, another 1,100. And from this one, another 1,000. So we are pretty much rolling in it at this stage. I'm getting very lucky on these rolls with the random number generator, because these are some very hefty chests I'm getting from a lot of these drops so far. Some more shotgun ammo there, that's very useful. We climb up here, we've got another cupboard here which contains some handgun ammo, excellent for reloading. And I'll do that now, in fact. So we'll hop over here and down, and there's another bit of treasure that we can get. This is the beer stein. Now, we could go and cash this in with a merchant the first time we find them, but you'll see there's little divots on the side. Those are where we can place treasures as we find them as we go through the game. So I'll be trying to get all three of them if I can remember where they are. I know the locations of at least two, and I'll see if I can remember the third. We could shoot that to destroy it, but I think in fact I'm just going to push it out of the way. We are not yet done with this area. As you'll have seen, there are these little blue tokens hanging around the place. And if we read that note that's attached to the tree, we'll find out a little bit more about them. 15 blue medallions, 7 in the farm, 8 in the cemetery. For those of you who destroy 10 or more will be awarded, the rest is illegible. Now, I'll save you the breathtaking spoiler of knowing what it is just for the moment, but there is a useful message, which is that although there are 15, there's no point destroying all 15 of them. You don't get anything else. You just destroy the 10, get your reward, and then off you go. So I will not be doing all of them, but I'll be doing enough to get the special reward, although veterans of this game might know that it's not actually all that good. Right, so destroy the first medallion. That's easy enough. We destroy the second medallion. The trouble with the medallion quest is that there's only 2 locations in the game that have them, and you can get most of the medallions in the first one, because there's 7 or 8. So it's not much of a challenge. Now, this is not a medallion, but you will see that this is a nice bit of treasure. Now, if we shoot that, it'll fall down, but obviously we don't want it to fall in the random mess of poo and blood that appears to have been assembled in this well. So first, you shoot down that stick, then you shoot it, and despite having a bullet hole through it, you get the pearl pendant in a clean condition, which makes it much more valuable when you eventually sell it. Head back here, and we find another medallion. I can't remember off the top of my head where all of them are in this area, but I'll try and get all of them. That's clearly not a pool of manure, that's a pool of water with maggots in it. Medallion the 4th goes down. Medallion number 5 is over here, past this gate that we will not be able to access just yet, but as you can tell from the fact that it's here and it's quite a well-rendered object, it is a location we'll be going down before too long, let's say. I've just spotted one there, hanging on the windmill. So down goes number 6. You okay, dog? Oh! Is it the dog I rescued from the trap? I mean, he's running away from me. I don't mean you any harm, boy. Oh, good boy. So back here and behind the barn, quite well hidden, we have Medallion the 7th. So that's all the ones in the farm. So we'll just go drop a quick save, and we will proceed forward through the next gate. So heading through this gate, we meet our first quite annoying set piece of the game. This game fancied itself in the Shenmue style as having lots of interesting interactive cutscenes, which would thrill players with the ability to mess with the game's bits that were normally outside the player's control, but as you can see, they just became quite fiddly. Now, I didn't manage to get crushed by the boulder on that occasion, but that was quite a frequent occurrence when I played this originally. Hanging from the ceiling here, we've got several items of treasure. We've got a spinal here. I think we've got another spinal further down. These are not particularly valuable, but they're nice to haves. And through here, you'll see that little that cross with the skulls hanging from it generally means warning, danger incoming. So you'll see these guys have dynamite in their hands. If you are good, you can shoot their hands and blow them up before they engage you. Now that's quite difficult to do, and you'll see there's also some tripwires sprung there. So we'll blow those up before they get the chance to blow me up. This is an area of the game where you can take significant amounts of damage if you are not careful. See, there's dynamite incoming, and there is also dynamite coming out of that window, so if you're good, you can shoot it out of the air next to them and save yourself some hassle. We've also got a spider here who is curiously vulnerable, even though he doesn't drop anything and just sort of explodes into orange goo. I feel a little bit bad about doing that, but also spiders are creepy and I don't like them, so they can frankly take what they get. So we better clear this house out of dynamite, guys, because they might be dangerous on the way back. Strangely, you don't shoot the dynamite to make them explode, you shoot the hand holding the dynamite. Again, we have an instance of what we call crowd management here. That was not as well handled as it should have been, frankly. I managed to take a hit, so I'm going to quickly use one of my white chicken eggs, which are the minimal healing ones, and proceed from there. So, top up on ammo at least, a little bit of free cash. Not much else in here, as I recall. Oh, no, grenade. That's useful for some of the bigger fights later on. So we'll ultimately need to go into this house, but before we do, firstly, we've got this bird's nest here. Shoot that, and it drops the red cat's eye, which if we just head into our inventory, we can go to the treasure screen, and we get the cat's eye and combine it with the beer stein, and we have a beer stein with a red cat's eye. Now, there are two remaining, a yellow and a green, and those slightly more escape me how I get hold of them. But I know it's not too difficult, and I think it's all within the first two chapters, so we should encounter them before too long, and if we end up in chapter 3 and I haven't got a full beer stein, then you'll know I've missed one. So, we hear a mysterious thumping from inside this house. Let's carefully break our way in and find out what's going on. Among other things, we've got a cabinet here with 1,000 pesetas in it, handgun ammo on the table, and we'll drop a quick save prior to this cutscene, although, spoiler alert, we are about to end the chapter, so it's quite unlikely that that save is going to be necessary, but nonetheless. Shoot that, but notice that there's a sneakily hidden second tripwire there, which we'll also have to take out. There we go. Another cabinet with a green herb in it, which I will gladly take, and while I'm on full health, I'm just going to go into my inventory and combine it with the red and the green, so we now have a full mixed herb, which I'm going to save for now until I have managed to get to the point where I've lost a significant amount of health, but that will boost me back up to full and expand my maximum health as well, so I'll quickly reload the shotgun while I'm at it. Not that I think it's immediately necessary, and we'll get this cupboard out of the way and reveal a hidden room. Ooh. So, what could be in here?
don't you think? You're not like them?
No. You?
Okay, I have only one very important question. You got a smoke?
Got gum.
Perfect. The big cheese.
What?
So, as we finish off the first chapter, we run into Torres Mendez, who is the chief of the village, and who we'll find out about more in the next couple of chapters. Now, I think an 84% hit ratio is very, very good marksmanship, and making it through 34 out of 34. Now, it says number of times killed 0. That's not really true, as you know from the last video when I died multiple times, but a cheeky restart gets us past that cap, so we'll just save and move on to chapter 2.
Feeble humans, let us give you our power.
Ooh, ow.
Soon, you will become unable to resist this intoxicating power.
Do you think he's a bad guy? I think he might be a bad guy.
Hey, wake up.
Yay. Crawl out of one hole and into another.
You want to tell me what's going on here?
Americano, see? Now what brings a bloke like you to this part of the world? Oh, hey, easy, whoever you are.
Name's Leon. Came here looking for this girl. Seen her?
What, are you supposed to be a cop or something? Nah, you don't look the type.
Maybe.
Okay, let me guess. She's the president's daughter?
That's too good for a guess. Want to start explaining?
Psychic powers. Nah, just kidding with you, amigo. I overheard one of the villagers talking something.
I think someone else wants to act as a question.
And who might you be?
Me llamo Luis Serra. I used to be a cop in Madrid. But now I'm just a good-for-nothing guy who happens to be quite a ladies' man.
Why'd you quit?
Phew, policia. You put your life on the line. Nobody really appreciates you enough for it. Being a hero isn't what it's cracked up to be anymore.
Used to be a cop myself. Only for a day, though.
I thought I was bad.
Somehow I managed to get myself involved with the incident in Raccoon City on my first day in the force.
That is the incident with the viral outbreak, right? I think I might have seen a sample of the virus in a lab at the department.
Hey boy, I'm not dying.
Do something, cop!
After you.
Now!
It's Leon. Sorry I couldn't get in touch sooner, but I was a bit tied up.
You're okay, right?
I'm fine. There was a male civilian held captive. According to him, Ashley's in a church somewhere.
What happened to him?
He managed to escape.
Do you have a fix on the location of that church?
No, but apparently there's a secret passage in the village that leads there. I'm heading back to the village.
So, yes, we've been transported after having been injected in the neck. The corpse of the guy we just gave the boot seems to have disappeared. I'm not quite sure why. He did disappear a lot easier than the rest of them normally do, so maybe he's some kind of ghost.
Over here, stranger.
And here we have the best character in the game, who we'll be introduced to momentarily. Grab some rifle ammo. That's a hint of the weapons to come. And we'll head round to say hello to our new friend.
Got something that might interest you. Got a selection of good things on sale, stranger.
He's not kidding. This guy is going to be a bit of a lifeline throughout the rest of the game. So we will... So he's explaining the medallion challenge to us, but we've already read the sheet on that, so we don't need that. Let's just go through and sell some of our valuables. So 5 spinals. That's 10,000 pesetas. The pearl pendant without being covered in poo. That's another 10,000. And tempting to sell the mixed herbs, but I think I'll need them, so I won't do that. And we'll head back. Firstly, upgrade the weapons we've got, which you'll see we can do in a number of increments. For now, I think I can afford all of them. So a significant increase in pretty much all the stats. The capacity upgrade in particular is very useful, as is the capacity upgrade for the shotgun. So that allows us, after selling all that treasure and getting pretty lucky on some of those rolls, to have fully upgraded our weapons as far as we can go at this point in the game. Now, it's usually good to get the attaché case upgrades as soon as possible, because having more storage capacity is incredibly useful. I don't normally get the treasure map because I know this game well enough to know where most of the treasures are. The TMP is a submachine gun which can be situationally useful for crowd control, but honestly, I never normally buy it and it never normally does me any harm. Rocket launchers are an effective way to get past any boss without having to try. They basically are a cheat code that you can buy for 30,000 pesetas. If you save them up, they're quite useful for later in the game, but they take up a large amount of inventory space, so I'm not going to be doing that. Now, the rifle is an arguably useful purchase, but also at this stage of the game, not incredibly useful. It becomes invaluable at a certain point in about Chapter 5, but obviously that's quite a long way down the line, so we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I'd like to get a rifle at some point, but for now it is not an immediate priority. The Merchant's an interesting character, because you can kill him. I won't demonstrate, but if you do, especially in normal mode, I think in pro mode he is actually properly mortal, but in normal mode he comes back to life at every subsequent merchant location. If you scan him with a weapon that targets enemies which have the parasite in them, he has it, but he doesn't seem to be affected by it and never becomes so during the game. If enemies come near him, he runs away, and he never really fights them. It's never really explained his backstory. I'd love to see a sort of spin-off game which sort of explains who the merchant is and how he ended up there, rather than just being a slightly creepy excuse for a shop. But for now, we will just have to enjoy his upgrades and await him gracing us with his next appearance. So yes, we've got another crowd battle. So this guy's first, and we'll demonstrate at least our new, more powerful weapons. So that's one down. Another one bites the dust. And we'll try and hold them here for the moment. That guy coming down the stairs with the dynamite is going to cause problems if we don't get rid of him soon. We can kick them off the edge, which is nice, and they can also blow themselves up, which is doubly nice. So I'll enjoy that for now, and oh, take a big whack there. So this is a perfect opportunity for a full heal and an HP boost. So you'll see that my HP meter has gone up slightly. I think it might be time also to switch over to the shotgun. So if you shoot them while they're on the edge, they can be knocked off, and we can also deal with the dynamite guys more easily with the shotgun with its spread. So take a good shot there, and off they go. As it's a video game, red barrels obviously explode. And if we keep moving around, we should be able to avoid getting trapped by them. Not like that though. That's a bad way to deal with the situation. Uh-oh. We're out of shotgun ammo. Give that guy the boot. Ooh, okay, we're taking some serious damage from that dynamite. We've got to take that guy out. Going to take an egg for now, not a full heal, and double back and run off this way, see if I can get some clearance past that guy with the pitchfork. So if I can back off to my original location, we should be able to bottleneck them on these steps again. Gives me a chance to reload quickly, and if I have to, I'll go over to using my grenades. So that guy's gone. That guy's not gone, but he's down, so I can quickly knife him. I'm not quite sure what the damage done by the basic knife is. I think it's a little bit less than one shot with the standard handgun, so it's not a particularly powerful weapon, but if you can isolate them, it can be useful. Obviously, the edges here are your best friend. Also worth, at some point, heading up here where there's some serious treasure to be found, and we'll have to go for a plot item in a moment anyway, so... There we go, managed to get lucky on the dynamite. And again. So we've now almost cleared out this top section. Another dynamite guy down. We've got another choke point here. We can use the incendiary grenade, our first of the game, to come up with a bit of a wall of fire to stop them once I've healed. Doesn't do quite as much damage as the explosive grenades, but it's instant and it happens on contact, so it can be useful for sort of crowd management for a moment. Oh, I managed to miss a context-sensitive command. That never happens. See, we're keeping them back. Couple of heads popping from the kicks. We can do this using mostly just the handgun. And with that music fading, we are free of the Ganados. This is the first big battle we've seen in this game since the village, and unlike that sad incident, I managed to get through this one without dying. So we head up here, open this chest, and get half of an emblem. This is very much in the Resident Evil tradition of having to combine random objects to be keys to doors that shouldn't need keys like that. But, you know, it's the game we know and love by this point, so it's something you just sort of take in your stride. So we'll head down here. You see that there is a second chest on top of this building, and once we've got those, we can start looting the area. Sadly, if I go back to the merchant, there's not much else he can sell me. There's only so many upgrades available. A lot of them are plot hard locked, so you can't upgrade your handgun into a ridiculous super weapon this early in the game, which is probably good for game balance and keeping some semblance of horror, but is slightly frustrating if you already know what the upgrades you're going to get are going to be. Is there anything in this locker? Yes, there is. So there is another 1,000 pesetas. Very nice. That will buy us a chunk of weapon upgrade when they're available again, and a yellow herb, which is very, very useful. I think, have a green at the moment, but that's getting me up to the point where I can get another green, red, and yellow. So that will be useful down the line. So here we have the place where the key goes. Combine the keys into one key, and we'll use it on the door, and through we go. We've got an interesting zone here where we can proceed from outside into inside without passing through a load zone, which is rather unusual for this game, but will introduce us to a couple of new mechanics in this section. I'll kick the door open, so you'll see there's a mask, which we can't quite get to at this point, but which we will be getting in a moment. That is another one of the treasure items that takes additional treasures to make it more valuable down the line. So if we proceed through here, deal with that guy, take those guys down. Oh, I didn't quite get the contextual prompt there. Running slightly low on health. I think I'm going to go over to the egg. Ain't that a kick in the head? So through here, if we jump through, we have our first new mechanic, which is a cover mechanic, where you can crouch behind environmental objects. Generally, I don't find it all that useful to pop up and shoot, because it's usually easier to get lucky with the dynamite and help them destroy themselves, as one of those guys just did there, but you might find it somewhat useful. I'm going to duck down again here, now that we've dealt with the other guy who doesn't have dynamite, and see if we can shoot the dynamite out of one of their hands. There we go. Job done. So come out of cover. For some reason, they had a live bear trap on their own side of the wall, which seems counterproductive. And with the fading of the music, we are free of the zombies. Now, the second mechanic we'll get to in a second, but firstly, we have to go and loot that room with all the bear traps, which we'll have to be careful not to activate. So firstly, we'll look in the ovens, where for some reason there's a spinal being roasted on an open fire. Grab some more handgun ammo so I can top up there. And yes, we have these bear traps, so you can set off 2 at once if you want to do a trick shot. And those are clear, so we go to the second oven, where we get some more ammunition, which thankfully they have not decided to set on fire, which could have caused a bit of a mess. Bear trap 1, bear trap 2, and bear trap 3. There wasn't really much point in activating all of those because I wasn't going to come back through this area, but it's nice to feel like you've done the full job. Now, the second mechanic is destructible scenery, which it occurs very sparingly during this game, but it is useful to know that it does exist because it means you can sometimes access secret areas and get treasure like the elegant mask. Now, that's another one that will require some treasure down the line, but I'll try and flag that up as we come to it. So, a slightly quieter scene here for a moment. Except this guy, but it literally is only him. And a single zombie in this game is absolutely no threat at all. There we go. So he's down. I'll make sure we hop down here. Now this is why you might have wanted to expand your inventory earlier in the game, because as well as some slightly incongruous ammo, we've also got this chunky boy, who will just knife quickly, and despite just seeming to be an instance of apparently needless cruelty to animals, if you do slash these fish, you can actually collect them. They are healing items, like so. The Black Bass Large is an equivalent to a full red-green herb combo. The problem is, as you can see, it's very, very big. I can just about take it. It isn't really worth all that much, and it's not great as a healing item because of the amount of size it takes up, but I might take it as a novelty. You never know, it might come in useful. So flip that on its side. Now I'm doing terrible attaché case management here, I know, so I'm just going to quickly neaten this up a little bit. Now that's not ideal, it's not as neat as I'd want it, but it is slightly better, and it allows me, crucially, to fit in the fish. This is the only time in the game that you obtain fish. There's never normally another opportunity. I've got a flash grenade there, which will be useful later for reasons I shall come and explain. But it's a nice, moment in the game. I think I interpret it as a sign that maybe there was more that was meant to go into this game that just didn't, for reasons of development time or budget or some other reason that meant that they couldn't quite get everything they wanted. Now, crows, if I detonate these explosives, those crows should be killed in the blast. 2 of them were. I'll leave that one be. Now, crows are interesting because crows you can actually kill with flash grenades. They only, in the game files, only have 1 HP, and the way flash grenades work is they deal 1 HP of damage. Now, with most enemies, that's obviously a trivial amount, and I suppose it is in theory possible if you threw hundreds of grenades at a boss, you could kill it, but it's not generally very useful. What flash grenades are meant to do is they inflict stagger. So, although they are mainly for stunning enemies regularly, you can actually wipe out groups of crows with them if you want to waste your flash grenades. Now, as you'll have seen, we've got another poo-filled well here with yet another treasure. So, like before, shoot the cover down, take the brass pocket watch, which I think is worth another 10,000. So we've got a mysterious house here, no other way to go. So let's head inside and see what we find. Okay, so this... we have to provide a symbol that will allow us to access this. And would you believe they put it on the door itself, which doesn't seem very secure to me, but this is Resident Evil, so we can't expect it to have very sophisticated puzzles. And we got a familiar gentleman in the picture here, and we also got the insignia key. The ominous musical sting there implies that that is perhaps not the best thing. Another 1,000 pesetas hidden inside the cupboard, and a mysterious red letter on the bed. Chief's note. As instructed by Lord Sadler, I have the agent in confinement alive. Why keep him alive? I don't fully understand what the Lord's intentions are. I would, however, think he'd keep them separate, not confine them together as been ordered. I don't expect Luis would trust a stranger, but if by chance they did cooperate, the situation could get a bit more complicated. If for some reason an unknown third party is involved, I don't think they'd let a chance by this like this slip by. But maybe it's all Lord Sadler's ploy, leaving us vulnerable so this third party will surface, if they even exist, that is. It's an unlikely possibility, but if a prowler is already amongst us, then our plans could be ruined. I guess the Lord thinks it's worth the risk if we're able to stop whatever conspiracy is at work. At any rate, the Lord's call, we'll trust his judgment, as always. So, a little bit creepy from the giant muscle chief there, but let's head through this door and see what he has to say for himself.
Nuestro jefe se cuidará de la rata. Si la plaga es mucho mejor que la nuestra.
You carry the same blood as us, it seems. Nevertheless, you're an outsider. Just remember, if you become unpleasant to our eyes, you'll face severe consequences.
What? Same blood.
So with that, we reach the end of chapter 1-2, and I think this is a good point to leave the game off. I've got a slightly lower hit ratio, but I've killed more enemies, and I haven't been killed, so that's a good position, and next time we will proceed through to the next bit of chapter 1. Now, I'm glad that I've made a bit more progress in this game. I was a bit embarrassed by how often I died in the village fight in the first episode, but if you stuck with me up to this point, I'm really grateful for it. I'm just getting back started on this YouTube thing again, so I really appreciate every view and every like and every comment that you leave. So if you're looking forward to this, more of this, it will be back next Saturday. I've also got my midweek series, which at the moment is Darkest of Days, a slightly obscure first-person shooter from the late 2000s that I've always been a bit fascinated by, so maybe go check that out. Otherwise, I will see you next week, and thanks for watching. See you next time.